Okay, thank you, everybody. It's great to be back in Saratoga County, and it's great to be back here with at GlobalFoundries and the wonderful, hardworking, and dedicated to the Capital Region CEO, Tom Caulfield, and I want to thank him and GlobalFoundries for hosting us today, and to the great workers, over 3,000, right? At GlobalFoundries who have worked through this pandemic to address the global shortage of computer chips. So, first I have a big announcement, and I know Tom and his team are excited about it. GlobalFoundries will be officially moving its headquarters from Silicon Valley to right here in Saratoga County. This is a huge shot in the arm for our capital region economy, and it's a giant step in our goal to make Albany one of the, well, it is already, but to enhance Albany's position as one of the chip fab capitals, not just of America, but of the world. So this is a great, great announcement. I had urged Tom on several occasions to do this, and here we are, here we are. And to give you a little more of the details, Tom's agreed there's no better place than for GlobalFoundries to have its home than right here in the capital region. The company's invested over $15 billion in the state-of-the-art fabrication plant. Tom is a native New Yorker. He has deep roots here, and we have the greatest workforce in the semiconductor industry. It's not like another place where they come and leave. Our workers are loyal, and they stay here. And that's a very, very important thing to companies that run these very sophisticated plants. The headquarters supports dozens of executives in the senior leadership team and cements Saratoga County as the center of the GlobalFoundries universe. And that is really, really important and wonderful. You know, when we broke ground on this massive building, I said that for the last 150 years, Saratoga was known for potato chips, but the next 150 will be known for computer chips. And that's a great change. Making computer chips pays a lot more than making potato chips. Ask the workers here. And so that's happening. That's happening. The change from potato chips to computer chips is happening before our very eyes. And GlobalFoundries is an essential thread in the fabric of the capital region's economy. We have advanced this economy in many different ways over the last several decades so that we are at the center of high tech in a variety of different ways, and that means good paying jobs for this region for years and years to come. One of the reasons that this county and this region is doing better than many other places in upstate New York is places like this wonderful chip fab that GlobalFoundries has and the other tech that we have. So we're not stopping here. This is a dual announcement, and I think what I'm saying now still has a lot to do with GlobalFoundries coming here. Today, I'm here to announce that I plan to pass legislation in the Senate to provide $50 billion to implement the bipartisan federal semiconductor manufacturing and research and development incentives that are passed into law last year. This money will pay for new chip fab plants. As you all know, there's a desperate shortage. Some of our auto plants, many of our tech plants that make high-end tech equipment, and so much else have come to a halt because we're short of chips. We don't, and we're sort of Todd Schickus. Hi, Todd. Nice to hear you're from, I hope that's a friendly voice. I was wondering what was going on over there. So the bottom line is very simple. We need to build while the United States and our genius created the chips, and we are the leader in creating the most advanced chips, we don't make them here as much as we should. China has started making many more than us. The Chinese government has aided and abetted that, and it is the bipartisan opinion of Congress that we have to start making the chips here. They're too important. So this $50 billion, a good part of it is going to go to help fund build plants. And I'll be fighting very hard to see that that comes to upstate New York and to the capital region in particular. We have a few other places that are interested as well in upstate New York, and that's great. One near Syracuse and one in Genesee County in Batavia. But we have the best plant here, and to increase it with these types of funding will be very, very important as well. And once this bill, and so that is something we're doing. And we're doing another thing as well. At the heart of this effort is something called the EFA, the Endless Frontier Act. In addition to the investment in chip fab, we want $100 billion to go into pure and applied research on the highest ends of technology. We cannot fall behind in science. Science creates jobs. It was the early investments in DARPA and NSF that made the United States the leader of the tech industry. It was the early investments or the continued investments in NIH that made us a leader in the pharmaceutical industry. Millions of good-paying jobs. When you do the science, you create the jobs. And so the Endless Frontiers Act will fund $50 billion, or $100 billion rather, $50 billion for chip fab and $100 billion here over the next 5 years for high-end research into not just not just the manufacturing of semiconductors, but things like advanced AI, quantum computing, research into battery storage and electricity storage, 5G, biotech, the industries where we have to be at the forefront. If we're successful in passing this bill into law, GlobalFoundries will be able to get a massive federal investment to build new semiconductor fabs, and the capital region could get a heavy investment into new scientific research, both the pure research and the applied research that produces new products and new jobs. So it's really a 1-2 punch for this community. We have weak spots right now in our economic and national security. One is that we don't have enough chips, but another is that we need to do much more advanced scientific research. The Chinese government is pouring tens of billions of dollars a year into this research. We're better than they are, dollar for dollar, person for person. But if they keep investing and we don't, our research and science has declined, they will get ahead of us and they will become the leaders in the world economy in a decade or two. So we have to make sure. And the good news is both the Semiconductor Manufacturing Bill and the Endless Frontiers Act on the Sciences is bipartisan. The first bill is led by 4 people, 2 Democrats, myself and Mark Warner, and 2 Republicans, Senators Cornyn, one of the Republican leadership, and Senator Cotton, who's way out there. But on this issue, we agree. I shouldn't have said, well, anyway. He and I disagree on many issues, let's put it like that. And then the Endless Frontiers Act has 6 Democratic and 6 Republican sponsors, led by myself and Senator Todd Young, a Republican of Indiana. So these bills have a very, very strong chance of passing, and I hope as Majority Leader I get to determine what's on the floor of the Senate, and I hope to put these on the floor sometime in May and get it done, be on the President's desk, and then we can start working on getting this money out to our foundries and our chip fabs, and the United States will regain preeminence, not just in the research, the scientific research of creating new chips, but in the manufacturing of the chips that we do the research on. Okay? So this is great news. It's a dream come true. I knew Tom when I kept lobbying him, come here, come here, come here. He was listening, and today shows it. Tom Caulfield.
Thank you, Senator. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out today on this beautiful day. So thank you again, Senator, for joining us today to advocate for the swift passage by Congress of the Endless Frontier Act. In passing the EFA, we also call for the funding of the CHIPS Act, as you pointed out, which was passed last year as part of the NDAA.
Can I just clarify?
Sure.
The bill passed last year, the CHIPS Fab bill,
Right.
but it wasn't funded. So we're going to put the funding in the EFA bill. Sorry.
But we needed that to, so there was something to fund.
We had to have a law first on how to do it, now we fund it. Sorry.
Anytime.
Forgot to say that.
Well, look, this wouldn't have been possible without your tireless leadership in forging bipartisan coalition. That's what it takes in Washington. You just pointed that out. Demonstrating that our nation's leaders fully appreciate the need for a new industrial policy to address critical vulnerabilities in the U.S. and semiconductor ecosystem. Today, I'm pleased to announce, at the urging of Senator Schumer, they started about 3 years ago when I ascended to the CEO, that we are enhancing our presence in upstate New York, and we're officially, as of today, relocating our headquarters to Saratoga Springs, Saratoga County, Malta, New York, right here. So it's through your leadership, Senator, that upstate New York is becoming one of the few globally competitive centers for excellence for semiconductor manufacturing. And as you pointed out, as a native New Yorker, the son of a New York City firefighter, and just a manufacturer at heart, I am proud to be making upstate New York GF's new headquarters. Yeah. I have a list of adjectives. I'll keep it short, but I'll just start with saying our amazing, highly skilled and dedicated, diverse 3,000-person workforce, together with our local, state, and federal leaders, will build on GF's success and make the Empire State one of the few world-class semiconductor manufacturing hubs in the U.S. And at a time when our national economy, our national security, and more humankind's way of life depends on semiconductors and the need to manufacture them. In fact, I'd like to personally thank a few of our GF members here today, our environmental safety and healthy team, who are here for us today, for all their hard work and dedication over the last 14 months to keep this operations going 24/7, 7 days a week. Where are you guys? I want to give you a shout out. Yeah, nice job. Our work's not done, but we got a lot of this behind us, right, team? So one more time, the importance of semiconductor to our future cannot be overstated. Our way of life, our society, the world depends on these tiny devices which power a $91 trillion world economy. And GF is only one of 5 companies in the world that manufacture the majority of the world's semiconductors, and the only one with a global manufacturing footprint, and the only one with a huge foundry in the U.S. We're focused on producing feature-rich chips, the most pervasive high-end growth markets there are, targeting applications that require not only connectivity, but secure connectivity, more processing power, but energy efficient, and more intelligent and intuitive. Our manufacturing facilities worldwide are running at full capacity, and this is why we are doubling our planned investment this year to $500 million at this site alone. The current global supply-demand imbalance has brought to the forefront the vital role of semiconductors play, and it's paramount to collectively invest in this rapidly accelerating industry. As a trusted semiconductor manufacturer, the supplier for the U.S. government, GF has been leading the charge in domestic semiconductor manufacturing, and we are proud heritage of making chips upstate New York for decades. With our successful partnerships created in New York with Senator Schumer, support of other state officials, GF has invested more than $15 billion in this site alone. Now, with this move of our headquarters and the corporate functions in the state-of-the-art facilities of this fab, our goal is to double this capacity and site in the years to come. And we see no reason that we can't make this a reality with the right partnerships, with public-private partnerships, with government, both state, local, and federal, and our customers to make that a reality. And lastly, once the Endless Frontier Act is passed by Congress with the full funding of the CHIPS and signed into law by President Biden, GF stands ready to do our part, expanding in upstate New York, accelerating our manufacturing in upstate New York, and creating many more high-paying American jobs. And when we're ready to build, we will call on our long-standing relationship with the building trades, supported by one of the largest project labor agreements in New York history, yes. Senator. Now it is time for action. With strong bipartisan support on the Hill, and thanks to your leadership once again, Senator Schumer, from New York and others, to restore the semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S. that will fuel the innovations of America and ensure long-term national security and economic competitiveness. Let's do this.
Let's do it. We can do the fist. Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot to say one thing, which I mentioned. In the Endless Frontiers Act, this is not part of the semiconductor part of the bill, we have $10 billion to create regional tech hubs. That is not in New York City or San Francisco or Boston or Seattle or Austin, but other places. And this is something that can really benefit upstate New York, the capital region, and the rest of upstate New York. Because we have good talent, we have good universities, but we haven't, except for the capital region, been a center of many of these new cutting-edge sciences in the Endless Frontiers Act. And now we could become a hub, which would be very important.